2026 tax refund update. In today's video, we are going to go over 60-day notices, what those notices mean for you. We are also going to cover the IRS appeal process. We also have the next direct deposit dates shared and much more. So make sure you stay tuned for all of the details. But before we begin, as always, welcome back, everyone. So very happy to have you back for another IRS update. And we are starting with we receive your tax return and are reviewing it. If we need additional information, we will mail you a notice with further instructions. Now, if you have this particular status on the WMR, you will more than likely receive a notice, CP058 notice. And this notice states that the IRS need more supporting documentation to verify income and federal tax withholding before they can issue you your tax refund. So if you are seeing this particular status on the WMR, make sure you're checking your mail for additional notices from the IRS, as well as you can check for online notices on your IRS online account. Let's continue with we receive your tax return and are reviewing it for accuracy. This review may take up to 60 days. With this particular status update, you may receive a notice, CP05 notice. We need more time to verify your income tax withholding, tax credits, and other business income. You may also receive an additional notice titled CP05B notice. And this particular notice is issued when the IRS receives a tax return that shows a refund is present, but the income shown on the tax return does not match the income reported by third-party documents like your W-2, your 1099s, and the IRS is holding your tax refund until they receive the correct information to verify your correct income. Now, the IRS states that if you are receiving these particular statuses or you are receiving these additional notices, that you do not need to do anything but follow the instructions in the notice, and please allow 60 days or more before contacting the IRS. Now, if you are wondering why your tax return is under review, the IRS states that they may select some tax returns to review so they can determine whether income, expenses, and credits or being reported correctly. And this does not mean you made an error or were dishonest. Now, if the IRS review your tax return and they made adjustments and you do not agree with the changes, you can file an appeal. Now, in order to file an appeal, you must meet certain criteria. Now, the Independent Office of Appeals may be the place for you if the following apply. You receive a letter from the IRS explaining your right to appeal an IRS decision, or you are choosing not to sign an agreement form sent to you by the IRS. Now, if all of the above are true, then you may be ready to request an appeal. To decide if you should appeal your tax dispute, consider also the following. If you believe the IRS made an incorrect decision based on a misinterpretation of a tax law, make sure to check the publications discussing your particular issue. In addition, if the IRS didn't properly apply that tax law due to a misunderstanding of the facts, make sure you are prepared to clarify and support your position if you choose the route of an appeal. Now, an appeal isn't for you if any of the following apply while your tax return was under review. The correspondence that you received from the IRS was a bill and there was no mention of an appeal. You didn't provide all of your information to support your position to the examiner during the audit, and your only concern is that you cannot afford to pay the amount of taxes owed after the IRS made their decision. Now, the IRS has an alternative option if you do not want to file an appeal. They have something called the Alternative Dispute Resolution, which is the ADR. And the ADR can help you if you have an unresolved issue with the IRS or you disagree with an IRS decision or action. It's informal, confidential, and voluntary. An appeals officer who is trained in mediation techniques will work with you and the IRS to help resolve the issue by facilitating communication between you and the IRS, helping identify core issues or barriers to settlement, helping identify possible settlement terms, providing a perspective and encouragement, as well as ensuring a level playing field and mutual respect during the mediation sessions. So if you do not agree with an IRS decision that negatively affect your tax refund, you can file an appeal or request mediation. Please share with us in the comments if you have ever filed an appeal with the IRS or if you went through the mediation process. Now let's move on to the good news. The next direct deposit dates shared are 846 refund issued for June 29, 2026, as well as July 6, 2026. Make sure to share with us in the comments if you did receive the next direct deposit date or if you have already received your tax refund. Make sure you're checking the WMR on irs.gov as well as your IRS online transcript to check the status of your tax refunds. Now make sure to stay tuned if your tax return is still under review past the 60 days. Here are the options on how you can get some assistance in finding out what the delay is. Contact the IRS at 1-800-829-1040 and you can contact the Taxpayer Advocate Service for assistance as well, especially if you are experiencing financial hardship due to your tax refund being delayed. You can contact them at 1-877-777-4778. You can also schedule an in-person appointment by calling 844-545-5640. You can also contact your local state representative by going to house.gov, put in your zip code, finding your representative, and you can contact them to receive assistance in finding out what the delay is. So make sure to explore all of these options to find out what is causing the tax refund delay. And don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and come back for more tax refund updates and breaking news. Bye-bye.